This moment has united Australia's political class as few others have, and there's a renewed energy to put pressure on countries with the death penalty to end it. The co-convener of the Australian Parliamentarians Against the Death Penalty is Philip Ruddock. Philip Ruddock, welcome.
Thank you.
Can I first get your reaction to these executions?
Well, obviously it's gruesome, and Australians are very moved by what has happened. For my own part, I find state executions just so abhorrent. When it happens to Australians, we should be concerned, but I think we should be concerned that it's happening at all. And I think this is a time for a renewal of our effort in opposition to the death penalty worldwide. And I intend, as the leader of the parliamentary group, to ensure that we advocate on all occasions. I did recently with the Vietnamese Prime Minister visiting Australia, put the view that they should change their policies, and I was pleased afterwards, and I don't know that it was related to my representations, that they in fact reduced the numbers of offences for which the death penalty might be sought. But we do have countries that we know well, like the United States, like China, Iran, where Julie Bishop's recently been, Saudi Arabia, where people are executed regularly, and I think we need to be vocal, not just because it's Australians, as we've seen in Indonesia, but vocal generally on this issue.
But as we've seen in Indonesia, Indonesia has been deaf to the world. The President received a call earlier this year from the King of the Netherlands asking him not to put to death a Dutch national, and 2 days later that went ahead, so Indonesia clearly isn't listening.
Well, clearly they haven't, in relation to these matters and the representations that have been made, responded. I find it extraordinarily difficult to justify when there were matters before both their High Court and the Judicial Commission yet to be resolved. But we need also to recognise that here they are executing numbers of people and have further executions planned, and I think we need to be continuing to campaign on that very issue in the way in which Indonesia has campaigned when it's its nationals who are destined for execution abroad. I mean, isn't it remarkable that we have seen here 7 foreigners, as Indonesia would see them, and 1 Indonesian executed, yet Indonesia, when its own people are likely to be executed abroad, is extraordinarily active in trying to limit that. And they're known to raise large amounts of money to try and buy the release from a possible execution of their own nationals.
OK, well, now we've seen that the Prime Minister has withdrawn the ambassador from Jakarta, coming home for consultations. That's never been done before by Australia. Do you think that's sufficient?
Look, I think the matter will be a matter for the government to assess carefully in terms of what is going to help move us forward in relation to this issue. I'm not going to get into commenting about whether there are other steps that should be taken. In relation to Sukumaran and Chan, I mean, the focus is on their tragic execution last night, but I think we need to be looking at about how we're going to make change in the future.
Now, you were Attorney General when the Bali 9 were arrested in Indonesia. There's been a lot of criticism of the Australian Federal Police. Does that need to be reviewed, the AFP's role in this?
Well, let me just say there was a review by a Federal Court judge, Justice Finn, and his findings were I think that the Australian Federal Police had acted lawfully and appropriately in the context of the legal regime that was in place at the time. My understanding is, and I haven't heard it mentioned, but there have been changes to the practices for the Australian Federal Police, for them to ensure that they take into account the prospect of people being executed when they are cooperating. But these are difficult issues, and I don't think there should be a recrimination about it.
Well, finally, Mr. Ruddock, you're a man of great experience both in and out of government. You're the father of the House. One of the things that we appear to have learned from this is that the Indonesian president actually is in quite a weak position and needs to be seen as a strong man. Do you think that that raises any serious questions for the way our relationship with Indonesia will progress?
Well, I think it is important that we have a mature relationship, understanding that there are a wider range of issues that have to be entertained. That doesn't mean we shouldn't have frank dialogue on these issues, and if I had an opportunity to meet with him, I would be continuing to press the need for Indonesia to reassess its situation in relation to the death penalty. And I think it is unfortunate if these matters become a matter of domestic politics where people think there are points to be earned by executing others. And the point I've made, I am particularly concerned that whereas other countries are often dealing with executions in relation to their own citizens, Indonesia seems to be primarily executing foreign nationals.
Philip Ruddock, thank you.